us, Nancy Pelosi.
I may not need that. Thank you all. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Cecil, for your kind words. And thank you, but more on that in a moment. I just want to first acknowledge the tremendous leadership of Reverend Cecil Williams and Jan. Over the years, they have been an inspiration to all of us. They have taught us a great deal, and we have learned so much about the urgency of their work, an effective way to get the job done, and a connection that they have to people that is really almost biblical in terms of, well, it is biblical. So, I thank them for the invitation to be here and thought that it was perfectly appropriate that on my first trip back to San Francisco following the passage of the health care bill, which was finally passed on Thursday night. That would be back here at Glide once again. I want to tell you a few things, but first I also want to acknowledge Senator Leno, Assemblyman Amiano, Supervisors Maxwell and Dufty for being here. I want to say to the members of the board, thank you for what you do for Glide. I want to acknowledge my colleague, and I'll be talking about her as we go along, Congresswoman Jackie Spear, who was so much a part of this tremendous victory. One of my friends for many years, and she, Phyllis Lyons' partner, Del Martin, the two of them were the first lesbian couple married in San Francisco. So here we are at Glide Memorial on this beautiful Palm Sunday, celebrating really something that is historic in terms of sitting right up there with Social Security, Medicare, Civil Rights Act, health care for all Americans. Health care for all Americans. This, as I say, we have made history, and now we are making progress for the American people. This would not have been possible without the leadership, the inspiration, the eloquence of President Barack Obama. But this was a big challenge, and it took all of our resources. It took you as an inspiration, the urgency that you see around you for health care reform in our country. It took our representatives to have the courage of their convictions to make the vote, to do as Jackie did into the Congress of the United States, to bring her ideas, fresh thinking of this area, to think entrepreneurially about how we go forward, so that we honor the vows of our nation. Our founders said in the Declaration of Independence that we are endowed by our Creator by certain unalienable rights: life, liberty, and they said, the pursuit of happiness. Well, with the passage of this legislation, people will now have healthier lives, the liberty and freedom to pursue their happiness. If you're a musician, singer, you want to be self-employed, follow your talent, your aspirations, your passion, you can do so now under this legislation. You no longer have to be job locked into a job to have it. If you're a person who wants to start a small business, and by the way, we're talking about the creation of jobs. This is a job creator, 4 million jobs created by this bill. But we don't want just jobs. We want ownership. And that is what this bill enables people to do, to start a small business, because now they don't have to stay job locked in a job because it has health insurance. They can free themselves, start a business, follow their talents, or they can change jobs without fearing that they will lose their health insurance. And if they happen to lose their job, they would not lose their health insurance. And so, think about an economy where people could have that freedom. It's not only good for them personally, for their talent, passion, and aspirations, hopes and dreams, pursuit of happiness. It's about an economy that can have that kind of vitality. Other countries have it. It's not an issue there. Why should it be an issue here? And it has certain other, in addition to that aspect of it, as Jan said, it's about women. If you are a woman, no longer will, this bill's for you. No longer will being a woman be a pre-existing medical condition. According to some insurance companies and policies, if you have children, if you can't have children, if you've had a C-section, you have a pre-existing condition. If you're a victim of domestic violence, you have a pre-existing medical condition. If you're an older woman, this isn't, all right. This bill is for you, because that is now all gone. No longer will any of those considerations prevent you from having health insurance. And no longer can families be denied health insurance because a child might have asthma or diabetes or be bipolar. No longer will that be the case. Let me tell you just in this regard of pre-existing. One of my colleagues got a letter from a family, little boy, 8 years old, had a stroke. Thrown off the policy, of course. For the rest of his life, he will have had a pre-existing medical condition, unable to get health insurance or to afford the kind of health care that he needs. Until now. Until this bill.